Hey Gophers, you are listening to Go Podcast. My name is Morten.
And I'm Dominic St-Pierre.
So this week we actually have a listener email, which is quite cool. I had a guy write me um, about our last episode on local LLMs, which he was also keen on exploring. So that was really cool to see that we're actually reaching something and talking about stuff that resonates. So yeah, I think we should maybe start out touching a little bit on that.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah,
cool. So thank you. Don't hesitate to contact us at all. There might not be some easy ways other than there's always the Slack channel. But if you are not on the Gophers Slack, we are there. By the way, channel Go Podcast. So it's in one word. So that's one way. But yeah, our email could be something potentially.
yeah. Happy to talk about local LLMs. I'm really interested in that topic right now. So you can always reach me at morten@mbvlabs.com or the Slack channel if you want. Happy to share setup. I'm also trying to get an article done and a video done on this, but there's always a million things to do. So in the meantime, yeah, feel free to reach out and if you have any questions.
Yeah, I can be reached at Dominic St-Pierre at gmail.com. So it's in one word, my last name. So SD-PI St-Pierre. Not the... Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that could be that. And now those email will be cut by the transcription. And we will receive a lot of new interesting email, which is sarcastic.
I'm getting a lot of after I so my domain for deploy crate I have tried to put out in as many places as possible to get some to increase my domain ranking, whatever DR is called, right? So I'm getting a lot of weird emails right now. A lot of people, a lot of VC apparently wants to buy this product, which is just
Damn.
What are you talking about? But I was so skeptical that I talked to another mate of mine who has done a lot of startups, and he was like, yeah, try and text them back, because I couldn't find any information on them.
Yeah.
And he was like, text them out. So I texted them back like, hey, can you share? And they're like, no, we can't share. Like, okay, why would you want to buy this zero user product that's not even launched yet? It doesn't make any sense at all. And then it seemed like it was just some, I don't know, email collection thingy, because they use the same email for some reason, which is weird. They use like the mvistisen at whatever .com, all of them, and it's the same kind of names, and yeah. So I get a lot of that, and then I also get quite a few people from Japan who wants to either A, work through me, so literally use my name but complete the work and share their money with me, or B, they have a team and they want to
offer services.
Yeah. It's a strange world.
Yeah, you should reply to the VC. All right, yeah, I can sell you. Give me €1 million and we are done.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it has to be dollars. I don't know why.
Oh,
I know we use euros here, and it will be worth more money, but there's something about SaaS and dollar amount. That's
totally. I was just saying that because you're in Europe, but whatever makes you happy, man. 1 million, and I think I could probably send you that way if you want it that bad.
Yeah. All right, man. So what you been up to this week?
It was pretty interesting. So with my SaaS that I'm building, we are onboarding the first. Well, what will be the first paying customer? So far there's basically 3 accounts that are testing the platform. So I offered them different level of free usage, if you will. A couple of the one of them is for 3 months. Another will be probably lifetime because it's someone that we know and whatnot. Long story short, this week is going to be the launch of the first real paying customer from from the external of our network. So someone that came, from outside totally. And interesting enough, it will be a high volume customer right away. So I had a lot of things to do this week, to be frank, because it's not, it's not like I'm not confident or anything. And we will come back probably to that next week, because they basically sell books, and they are launching a book. So basically, I'm not even sure. I don't want to talk too much, but let's say they currently are selling via a small library, and the library isn't able to sustain the volume now, so they need to move online. So it's a physical book; it's not an ebook, right? So we will see. That will be interesting. So this week it was all about tightening the quote unquote boring taxes calculation, the shipping fee calculation for the store module. So just as a reminder, I'm building a platform that allows people to create app, and an app has 0 module at first, and people just enable modules. What are the module that we are handling? Well, a lot of things. The CRM is at the center, and that one is free. And from there, you can have a website builder. You can have a proposal module, invoicing. In that case, this will be the store module. There's an online courses, which I'm very, very close myself to move to my platform for my all my stuff, my courses and whatnot.
Nice.
So yeah, that's pretty exciting. There's an email marketing module. Anyways. There's even a phone IVR. So basically, it's an app that lets you run your small business. So we are targeting solopreneur and very small businesses, so they can do what they need to do to run their business in a sense. So I don't even know. It's not clear exactly the messaging. The messaging part in a SaaS is always hard to determine and whatnot. But so far, it's great. Nice. So for me this week it was that, and I called the fulfillment company a 1993 old Montreal-based company, and it was interesting. No API, because they are handling the how do you say that? The inventory is there, so basically it's a warehouse, and they receive the orders, and they need to package the boxes and things like that. So I talked with them multiple times, and each time I was having different different requirements to send the orders there and whatnot, depending on who you are talking to and things like that. And I was like, oh, this is classical. So yeah, I created a small background process that just each day will kind of build the Excel file that they want to receive. And at first, my first question was about, what about the packing slip? I don't know how to say that in French, in English. Sorry, the paper that you are putting in the box, for confirming the order and whatnot. So at first they were saying, oh, no, it's us. We will create that. No worries. We do everything. And a couple of days later, it's like, oh yeah, but now we need to either have access to your platform and print the packing slip, call it what you want, the thing that have the customer address on there and what product they need, because at some point their Excel file that they sent me had no product whatsoever on that. So I asked the question, well, how do you know which thing to put in the box? and now they told me, oh, well, we need a packing slip. We need something. And I was like, okay, but that was not part of the discussion initially, but I asked that very own question. Anyways. So a lot of small things, a lot of I forgot how it was to work with older companies, big companies that do not even have APIs yet in 2026, which is kind of crazy. So yeah, Excel file, good old Excel file with the zip file of all the PDF of the let's call it an invoice. Could we call it an invoice? So they will have that to put in the box. They ship the box. A lot of tightening the the order process to make sure. So basically, the store module is pretty. I'm pretty happy about it now. So it's nice to have real usage, real customer that are going to pay because now their needs is more real. This customer is a little bit nervous because they were going to go with Shopify at first, and without entering into too much detail, let's just say they are more left than right in terms of political things, and Shopify has moved very, very drastically to the right. So even though they are a Canadian business, they are quote unquote more bad than good these days in a lot of people's opinion. So, anyways, long story short, the volume will be there and it will be interesting. So I'm happy that the backend is in Go. I'm happy that I have a lot of tests at the moment. I won't lie, I used the LLM to generate a lot of E2E tests, and now it's decent. I think I'm pretty confident of their launch.
Nice.
So yeah, very, very eager to see that. It will be a nice. If I'm honest, would I've preferred to have 5 smaller customers? Yes. I did not really wanted to handle like 5,000 orders in one day, as the early that the platform is at the moment. But am I confident that it will work? Yes.
Yeah.
But will it? Is there anything that will happen with the inventory and things like that? Well, yeah. It will, remains to be seen, but there won't be any. The customer is afraid that the servers won't sustain the load and what. I'm like no. That's not it. If anything is to happen, it will be regarding, well, the inventory is pretty low and now there's a lot of concurrent orders. Who's going to have the last one of the book, and that is mostly what I'm afraid of,
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I get it. It's always a little bit nerve-wracking the first time you really put it to the test. But I mean, it's also a good way to like iron out all the minor details and the unforeseen things, So certain things happen at scale that you don't really catch in local stuff. So that's nice. But it's interesting when you talked about the pricing or the way you're going to price it, because there was this guy who built something called Gummy Search, I believe the product was. So many years ago, I was toying with the idea of building like an analytical platform thingy with on top of Reddit, basically using I think it was the bird model, something like that, BERT, to extract topics from conversations. And then doing some research, I find this guy who's basically done that already for Reddit. He built amazing products. And the point of this is that he was discussing the early pricing for the SaaS product, and he was debating the whole like lifetime versus let's say quote unquote regular customers, right? And he was actually using lifetime customers as an early funding model for his startup, which is, I think, is a very interesting way to look at it, because maybe you lose, like, say you offer it for whatever, like $1,000 or something like that, right? He did that. He offered like lifetime models for like $1,000, and then he got 50 of those, and that bought him like runway for like a year, maybe, if he was like being careful or something.
I'm not a huge fan of lifetime deal, to be frank, even if it helps you at the beginning, because you still don't have the real answer. Those people might just be there for the lifetime. When I said lifetime myself, I was referring to free. It's free for them. It will be always free. But the coupon that I gave them in Stripe give them access to, I think it's $20. So it's enough. It's enough for the module that they needed, but I don't want them to start enable all the modules because my pricing is not tiered. For the first time in my life, I'm building a SaaS that have a quote unquote more complex pricing mechanism, but let people just pay for exactly what they are using. So as soon as they enable one module, this adds to their subscription, and I find it very interesting. It remains to be seen because you always hear people, let's make sure that your pricing is simple and blah 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 and things like that. But I'm on the other hand, yes, but if I were to have, I don't know, a 30, 75, and 150 plan, there's a lot of money that the customer is quote unquote losing because now, I need to have the middle plan because my module that I want is there, but I don't really care about those other 2 or 3 things. So I don't know. I'm trying to find the perfect perfect balance between pricing, focusing on revenue for myself, but making sure that the customer are going to pay exactly what they want, or at least what they need. So this is where I am. But yeah, to return to the lifetime, I understand that. I've heard a couple of people that were also doing those AppSumo deal as well. And, I've seen a couple of them doing the AppSumo deal, rebrand the product, and now you are free from, those SEO thing that, that can plague your brand for a couple of years after that. Because let's face it, once you have a popular AppSumo deal, everyone wants that deal after that. And so yeah, lifetime deal are not very sustainable. They are pretty much very dangerous in my opinion, because exactly like I was saying, you still don't have this famous answer, and this answer of will my product be attractive enough for people to really pay that, or they are just here to to pay this $100 and use a lot more resources over the years. So I mean, it's not a real test still. It's a decent first step, of course, because you still are getting money. You still are validating a little bit that, okay, yeah, my idea has some legs. But there's some careful to be there.
Yeah. Definitely. It's not super straightforward, but yeah, I think it's still an interesting thing to explore. Definitely also depends on what you can charge for the lifetime value. I mean, if it is just $100, then maybe not really.
Well, it depends on the product. There were a lot of calendar booking apps that were selling for 100 lifetime recently, because basically you normally pay for 1 year, right? It's the math that is the most common. 1 year worth of the normal MRR that you would the monthly that you would pay is usually what a lifetime should be around.
Okay.
So if the product is going to be $10, let's take Calendly for example, which by the way, I do have a booking module in my app, but that was that was to brag a little bit. So let's say the product is $10. So basically a lifetime price that would make sense for people would be around $100 in my opinion. You cannot really charge $500 for them. It's like 5 years of you can, but I don't know that it would sell as much as a $100.
Maybe not, but I also think it's kind of I think doing a lot of freelancing, you meet different people from different regions of the world, right? That have different expectations to what does an hourly rate for a software developer, or what should that be? How much should it cost, right? And I feel like it's a little bit of the same here, because sometimes I give a rate and they're like, "What are you talking about, man? That is absolutely crazy." And other times they're like, "Yeah, fine, whatever. Let's. When can we start?" So I just also think that it's a good metric to explore. So if you say like a year worth is $100, then saying $500, just seeing what happens. Like you can always put something in your terms of conditions. Saying like, yeah, 500. If someone buys it, fine.
Yeah, it depends.
Like
it depends to whom you are selling. If it's going to be a bigger business, a bigger organization, the $500 is probably nothing for them. So yeah, it depends. But let's pick the Calendly example, or the Calendly competitor in that case. I don't think that, because Calendly target is the prosumer, or solopreneur and things like that. They wouldn't probably not have paid 500 for that.
Maybe not.
Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows?
But maybe they would. That's
maybe.
Like the fun thing about pricing and positioning. Like you never really know.
Yeah, totally. You need to do a lot of tests and whatnot. It's as soon as you have a product, the first thing that you should try to do is make sure that your pricing are flexible. I did that I think I did that the right way this time, and it's crazy because with all the SaaS that I've built, it was always a crazy time to try to change the price. But this time I took the time to use the Stripe as this. You can put your own. I don't even recall the word. It's probably a key. Is it a key or an ID on the price? And now this is what gets plugged to my system. And if I just change the price, I just need to switch this custom ID from one price to the other. Pretty quick. Pretty. Compared to previously, I was mostly using the price ID. Which now, if you want to change your price, well, guess what? Even if you said that in an environment variables and whatnot, it still requires some redeployment of your application and things like that. I mean, this is something that people are not really thinking about enough. How would I be able to change my price tomorrow if I want? Is it going to requires me a lot of efforts? What about the subscription page for my customer and whatnot and things like that? So I mean, I know it kind of distracts a little bit from what you're probably trying to build, but it might be worth because testing multiple different prices is, like you said, you never know. You can bump your price. And again, I also think that this advice is blindly given for a long time now. Oh, double your price. Oh, increase your price. Fuck that shit, man. No, this is not as easy as that. I'm sorry. This is, you cannot just put a new price tag on something and just call it a day. This is bullshit. This is not how real world SaaS works. I'm sorry, but of course, try to keep your price, your price plans very flexible. And yes, try different experimentation, and you will see,
Yeah, but I also think it depends on where you are in the life cycle, because it's true when you are like more established, you cannot just. You saw Anthropic doing it with the pro plans, just moving things around, however they saw fit, right? But that is like one of the benefits of the early days, that you probably could just switch things around, because then you probably know the first customers by name. You can talk to them. You can figure something out.
No, but you can change that for your new customer. This is what people are not doing at Anthropic, and they don't have a product that allows to do that. But usually, what you do when you're going to change your price, you never change your price for your existing customers. This
Oh no!
this
Clearly,
is crazy.
no. Of course not. Of course not for the existing customers. Well, when we talk about exploring, it's always like, okay, so you sold that X for 100 people. Okay, then you can always grandfather them into that plan and then try something new. And especially in the early days, I think that's okay to play a bit around more with that. But of course, once you reach a certain stage, it's very hard to change as much, right? I think that's the point, or not?
Oh yeah. Yeah, totally. Because at first you don't really know. Like it's all bundled in the same unknowns. You don't really know the messages. You don't really know how much should it cost, and you don't really know how much the people are ready to pay. Are they even ready to pay? That's the first question that needs to be answered. That's why I think. When people say double your price, well, maybe you would not even have a chance to have a sell. So let's and as well, depends how you want to test your software. At first, you need users. You need real user at some point. So if your price are too high at the beginning, you might jump into this phase of, oh yeah, I will continue to add feature. I will continue to bloat the thing because now there's not real feedback from paying customers, and that is so much the danger that I personally fall into, very often, because at some point you just need real user. That's a fact. After that, well, if you want to increase the prices, I don't care that my first let's say 50 or 100 paying customers will pay, whatever the price. Let's say $10, and I don't care. I don't care. This is not what I'm after. I'm not looking at money at the moment. I have some capital to survive for a short period of time. This is what I'm trying in my life. I want this lifestyle. Well, this is hard to say at 6 a.m. But yeah, I will increase my prices for sure, or maybe not. I mean, yeah, this is interesting. I'm not in this for the money. I'm not at all in this. I just want my cover my bases and do some profit. That's all.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of this solo entrepreneurship is also just building the life you want, right? And hopefully reaching an amount of money that can sustain that is I think our life, not the life goal, but the goal for many of us is also my kind of approach to deploy Create, right? Hopefully getting to a point where you can pay the bills, not necessarily pay as much as it would taking a full-time job or doing consulting. It would be nice if it gets to that point, but if it can sustain my life and I can focus on building this thing as a solo team, just me, I think that would be very cool. Obviously, the dream is like I don't know how much you know about Peter Levels. He was kind of big in indie hacking, bootstrapping. Kind of brought a lot of the remote work stuff on the scene, right? That is obviously the end goal, because he is just him and making $3 million a month or something crazy, which is just an absurd amount of money to make as a single person, right? But I mean, less than that can also work. I think, at least for me and for a lot of people, right? So yeah, I get what you mean. It's it's not necessarily I need to be a billionaire kind of play.
Yeah.
If it happens,
I won't say no, but yeah, I would be happy with 5K at the moment. Let's be honest. I would be happy with 5K in MRR from a business that I built, from a SaaS, a product, a software product. Wow, if I can just reach that, man, I would be a happy person. What happened with you? So any new updates? Any blockers that you are having and things like that? Where are things?
I have been working a lot on what I call the Create operator, which is the API that runs on deploy Create servers, which I mainly had built using AI and then focused on writing deploy Create the platform myself. And now it was time to give it some TLC, some tender love and care. which is sorely needed. And doing this work really, I think, again confirms my hypothesis on AI assisted coding, that I cut like 99% out of it now. So I write all the code. I write all the code by hand. So and seeing what it did, and actually I'm gonna be jumping a little bit back and forth here, because I see a lot of the people developing in something like Laravel or Rails. I have a good friend of mine who works with who works at Laravel, and his mind is still completely blown about AI assisted coding, right? And I was kind of looking at the code that the AI had written for the API that runs on the servers. It's just all these little indirections, all these smaller quote unquote helper functions that I'm like, what are you doing? This is like, I have to jump to 5 different places to understand how you're running this thing. That's not good. I was kind of thinking like, okay, maybe the AI is good when those indirections has been designed by humans, and which I think is true for a lot of the frameworks, right? Like a lot of the things that happens under the hood, a lot of the magic that comes from something like Rails has been designed by humans, and they have been discussed and thought over and tested out. So I'm kind of reaching the point where maybe in those kind of things where they hide the details for you, if you can live with that, maybe AI assisted coding is good. But if you want to do something like Go, where you tend to not have a lot of magic or those kind of elements, it's not good, right? And doing this rewrite of it really confirmed a lot of those points for me. So yeah, I'm still exploring local LLMs doing this project, but more for like refactoring. Like the local LLM is really good at here is a bunch of errors from Go vet. Please go and fix them, and I can do something else, right? Amazing. But other than that, I'm really doubled down on the approach because I can see that there's a lot of improvements to be made. They make a lot of weird stuff because they need, in their mind, this little, just solving it at the moment in time that the LLM are, instead of like taking in the whole picture of what you're trying to do, right? So yeah, been doing a lot of that, starting to add a lot of golden file testing. Is that, I think the name, at least that's the name I learned, which is very nice. I work a lot with the Caddy admin API, so get a lot of those endpoints tested. I was trying to implement a feature where you can start and stop an environment on a server, and then I would like to show the state, if it's serving traffic, if it's dropping, if it's draining, all of those states it can be in, right? And that really prompted the whole refactor. So now I'm starting to get into something sensible, and I'm starting to have some nice tests on it. I still need to figure out how I actually do end-to-end tests, because that requires I think I would probably need like a VM or something like that. I'm still exploring how I could spin up like a Debian VM, install the thing, run things on it, test the output, right? But yeah, so
Docker? Can you use a Docker container for that?
Yeah, maybe. But again, this is one of those things I didn't really have time to dig in myself yet. So it's been again exploring with AI, which is still where I'm very pro AI, and why I'm also I'm still considering getting a sub for OpenAI or something like that, because exploring those details without having to search and read, I think that's very beneficial.
Yeah.
You still have to be careful, right? Because I did spend, like, there was a day where I was like, okay, let me just try and just rubber dog the shit out of this telemetry feature I wanted to implement. And the dangerous thing is always like it always looks correct until you start to like poke it a little bit. But the workflow of saying like, hey, I'm trying to do X, I think I'm using Y. Please find me all the information or the baseline, and then show me like a quick default implementation. And having that happen in the chat window, I think that is very beneficial. So that is basically what I have done with the end-to-end test suite, or the exploration of the end-to-end test suite of the create operator agent. And Docker, I can't remember why, but it was not really that pro on Docker, but there was another option, and I completely forget the names because it's been a month since I looked into it. But there are options where you can programmatically spin up these kind of things and test it. But maybe Docker would be an option. There was something stopping it, and I can't remember what. But yeah. I forgot where I'm at right now, but I think I'm all over the place.
I have a lot of questions. There's a lot to unpack. I'm first interested to hear a little bit more about what exactly that have you seen? Can you remember a couple of things that makes you think that the AI version that you had was crazy? What anything that you remember in particular that, because regarding your point of splitting the function for the Rails thing, maybe it was to test. Sometimes I see that an LLM that is writing code try to, I don't know. Well, maybe less Claude a little bit, but let's say Codex tries to make things a little bit more testable. So maybe that was the reason.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was actually testable. It was just a lot of things that did kind of the same.
Okay.
I would have to look at the PR diff because there was a lot of changes, and it was a lot of, for example, actually it was making the code less testable because it was not. So I have like a what I call a caddy manager that I have a lot of like methods to work with the admin API, and instead of just accepting that as a dependency, so you could do like some dependency injection, it would literally just create a new manager multiple times in the code. So I have two big workflows. I have the workflow to update the agent itself. So the agent that runs on the server will update itself and then switch traffic and all those kind of things. And then I have one to deploy applications that will either create the file, start the systemd service, or update the env variables, all those kind of things. And both of those workflows, they need, for example, like the caddy API to switch the traffic. And it was just random places. It will just create a new caddy manager, for example, and then use that instead of passing it down. Or it had a bunch of smaller helper functions that kind of did the same thing, or it was named in a way where I remember it had one function that was like called sanitize domain, which did not sanitize the domain. It converted it into, so for example, if my domain like mortenvistesen.com, it would take that and then underscore all of the spaces and dashes and whatever, so it just became mortenvistesen_.com, and then use that as an ID in the route config on caddy, which makes sense, but it's definitely not sanitizing domain. Yeah. It's not what I would say. So it was just a lot of like minor paper cuts where I'm like, I don't know what's going on because these namings doesn't make sense, and why don't you just inline this right now and then we can, it's hard. I think it's hard to really how do you say, describe?
It's a feeling. It's a feeling.
It's a feeling, and that's also frustrating because, like, I'm sitting here with my feelings. We are not doing feelings; we are doing engineering. But there's still this like nagging, like this is weird, or can we remove this? And I always ended up adding, I think, 6 currently golden files tests that have at least 2 files each, and that PR has 1,000 added lines and 1,200 deleted lines. So I added a bunch of files, and I still deleted more code, Wow. So I think there's something where it's just dealing with, like, I want to say just in time, like when the agent is going through, like, okay, I need this, and they're also starting to kneecap it a little bit by only having it read X amount of a file, so it doesn't use up too much of the context window, and that's maybe why it's missing some of the other things that already exist. So it's not like it's creating one-to-one representation of the same function, but there was a lot of this is like the same, or this doesn't need to be an indirection because now I need to jump into another file, or these things should clearly be a function in a separate package. So I had taken a lot of what it had and put into like a Linux package where I have a lot of functionality to work with, like systemd or journal CTL or those kind of things, right? So it's again, it's a feeling, and that annoys me a little bit.
Yeah.
that is the justification, but it is the justification, right? That you should probably write it yourself.
Yeah, totally. I have exactly the same. So that's why I'm not letting that thing write any kind of code that I care about very much. I don't care really about the UI as long as it works. I don't care that it repeats themselves 100 times there, to be frank, because I won't do it. But
you won't touch it.
No, not at all. I just want a UI that works. But I'm with you. On the back end and things like that. I'm like, well, you know what? No. Let's.
But I also see it in, like, because I created this web framework, right, that uses MVC as the main structure, which is a fairly known structure, and the packages are named model views and controllers, right? So the LLM, I think, should be able to reason, or quote unquote reason, that this is an MVC structured project, and it would still just load everything into the controller, and that might be right, but it's also, I still also have a service package where I do a lot of like the app level logic before we reach the domain layer. So it still had examples of how I would like to write the code, and it still continues to just load so much stuff into a controller, right? Which is, in any MVC framework that I have worked with, is like kind of like a code smell. Like, you don't want these 1,000-line controllers. You should probably extract some of the logic. So it's doing a lot of that. And then actually this morning I was reading an article about a guy who was building some Kubernetes project, whatever. And he was like, do the design first and then let the controller, let the agent work. Which is also what I have seen from Dax, who is part of the open code team, one of the founders there. He is also like, do the design yourself and then use it to add features. But I still see it where I've done the structure, the design, and everything, and it still just continues to go off on a tangent. So that's why I'm very much on like, sometimes I get lazy. And I start to use like the local LLM for stuff. And like, no, just write it yourself, and then open a chat with ChatGPT or Gemini, whatever. Discuss things, have it make examples, but make those examples harder to get into your code base. So that I think they need some effort, because at least for me, I get very lazy fast. So if I just like, that looks fine, let's just go with that shit. But if I have to copy it in and change stuff and blah blah blah, so it's not a one-to-one addition to the code base. I think it's easier mentally to just treat it as a POC or a proposal or a rough sketch, and then you take that sketch and model it. And I think, actually mentioning Dax, he had a tweet the other day where he was like, he's thinking of it as like taking AI and then just creating like a blurry blob, like creating an image, and then continuously iterating on that blob to make it into something that looks like the image you want it to be, which you can do. And I would probably rather have that blob be in the chat of ChatGPT and then refine it there, and then take something that's more refined and then take the learnings and then do the final painting myself in the code base. And then I think the output becomes of higher quality. I don't run off in 5 different directions myself immediately to test what is the best one, and then go back a few days later and say like, okay, option C was the right one. I can I'm more likely to get the right direction from the get-go by doing the discussion and the rough dogging initially, and then write it, and then I might still learn some stuff, right? So I think that's where I see a lot of the benefits now, is that there's a lot of different directions you can go, there's a lot of different bets you have to take, but it's easier to get the information to do the informed decision up front, and then run with it for a week or however long it takes you to actually build that feature, and then you get the benefit of understanding that feature. I think that's very nice. I think we've seen it in some of these podcast episodes where I'm explaining something I do, and I can't really explain you what I'm doing because it's not me who did it. And even though I reviewed the code, I looked at the code, I tested it out, I still, I'm rambling.
No, yeah. Knowing your system is we need to keep that. I mean, as an industry that are building software, we cannot let the AI know, because they don't know. It's pretty hard for them when you think about that to do the right things, because there's just so many things that they can do in terms of reading some files and whatnot. They might be skipping a couple of important things, and now they skipped that function, and now they are rewriting another function that does almost the same instead of modifying something that was existing. When you think about that, it's pretty hard, and it's kind of understandable that they are not there, and they might not even be there at some point.
Yeah. So I also have like a little far, like semi far in the future project where I'm probably going to take my freelance agency. I don't really know the purpose of the site, so I have mbvlabs.com, which is the name of my freelancing company. I think I might take that, do a Rails application, and then try and let an LLM write that, just to try and see what's it's like on the other side of the fence. Trying to get an understanding of what people that use those frameworks are talking about, because I still hear a lot of Rails and Laravel people raving about how good it is. Even DH8 is like, this is amazing. This is exactly the code I will write. So maybe it's also a training data set question. I don't know, but again, there's like Kubernetes is out there with 7 million lines of Go code. So I'm having a hard time believing that it's not that is a training data. I don't know. I think it's interesting to explore, and I think it's something you unfortunately have to explore, because the genie is out of the bottle, right? You can't just. I don't think you can ignore it. You need to. I think you have to explore this and find like a good workflow.
Yeah. Personally, what I really like lately, things that I cannot really see myself stopping doing that. Taking the production log errors, saying to the LLMs, this is the production logs. Can you list everything that I have there? Can you ensure that regroup the things, and do some speculation about what we are, and this is helpful.
Yeah,
especially for me. Reading a huge log file these days is getting harder and harder. So the LLM is way quicker than my screen reader to, just take you, for example. When you look at a log file, you can quickly group together a lot of lines. Just mentally, visually, you are able to say, oh, okay, those are the same errors. I cannot do that. I need to read all the lines. So there's a lot of small things that I'm using the LLM myself just to try and make my day-to-day a little bit more enjoyable, if I can say that. But
I also think that goes back to like my Google search example, right? It's a little bit of the same, where you just have you have a lot of information and then you can talk to it.
Yeah.
That is amazing. That is like the thing on steroid, because the workflow before was read through a million log statements, try and pick out the relevant information. If you don't know what's happening, Google it, and that of course gets amplified when you have to use a screen reader, right? So I totally get your use case for that.
Oh yeah, that to me is hard to not use that anymore. So writing code is, again, write the UI. I don't really care about, but yeah, I don't know about the Go training data, but maybe it has to be that the majority would be probably TypeScript and a lot of other languages before that. So I don't know if it get mixed with a lot of styles, and the typical program that we're writing in Go usually are not really just CRUD operation and whatnot. So I'm not trying to bash on other, Laravel and Rails and whatnot, but usually what you are building there is a little bit less, server oriented, or I don't know to say that, but it might be that, and it's pretty easy to write Go, but it seems to be very easy to write bad Go as well. So when you look at the LLM, you're like, and I was toying with a Gleam project the other day. It's even worse with Gleam. So and probably because there's not much training data to have there, but maybe it's related as you go further. I don't have any scientific knowledge about that or real data, but it seems to be that the less the language is popular, of course it will output some weird things, but I think it's mixing a lot of paradigms and principle from one language to the other, and now you're looking at your code and you're like, well, this is more Java than Go. I don't know. Yeah.
But also, I don't know if you heard, but the bun, not my ORM, the JavaScript runtime, Jared behind that, he has been talking lately about a big rewrite they are testing out. So they are moving from SIG. They're not officially moving yet from SIG to Rust, but they are testing out a move from SIG to Rust. And that they did, I believe, with LLMs. So it's literally just taking the SIG code base and transforming it into Rust code. And I think PR is like 1 million lines of code change or something like that. But the test suite was passing at like, I think 99 or something %, which is just wild. So maybe it's also because he has access to, what was the name? Mythos. Was that the model that will break the world or something like that? Maybe it's Mythos, I don't know. Maybe it's just because we don't have access to the same models.
But LLMs are pretty good at translating from one language to another. That'd be real language or programming language. So I mean, I don't know if I were to start a project today and say, let's build Bun in Rust, it would be abysmal. I mean,
yeah.
So they already have something that is working in Zig, and they like you said, they already have a huge test suite and whatnot. But I would be concerned about the translation of the test suite, because that's something that I've seen a couple of times. The LLMs tweak their own test to make it pass instead of making the test pass, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah.
I was trying to test the limits of the local LLM by adding a very very strict Golang CI config to it, and just let it run through the night. So they had there's a goal feature in Pi, the harness I'm using for local LLMs, and I was just like, hey, make this pass. So since it's free, I just let the computer run during the night, and I came in this morning. Here you are, everything is fixed, no more issues. And then it just either used GoLint to silence things or removed linting rules. And I was like, no, let's go back a little bit. And then I was like, you cannot change the config, and you cannot add lint rules. And then it was just running for the entire day and not making any progress, right? So it's true. Like sometimes they're just like this is the right solution, right? Which is also very human, So I used to work at a startup where the founder early on, he was just like, there was this test he couldn't make work. He was just skipped it with a comment, "Fuck this."
Yeah, screw that. We are deadline. We need to be live now.
Yeah, we need to go.
The LLM is saying, oh, you know what? I will just delete the code base, so it will fix all problems. So thank you very much.
The Linda passes. Yeah, so that's been a lot of my work lately, and also from a business standpoint, I've been debating with myself on what to do with the crate operator itself, because Originally, I was planning on making it open source. Then I changed my mind and made it closed source. And then I started to having to debate with myself, how do I make it so that people cannot pay me money and still use their servers? And the rabbit hole of trying to make proprietary software locked down in that way was just non-feasible. And also I would have to reliably downgrade their servers to a version that, because then it was the idea to have like a closed source that has a lot of deployment methods and a lot of nice features, and then have a simpler version, like a community edition version of that. But then maybe I say they had a lot of blue-green deployments, and then if the free version only offered immediate deployments, then I would have to go in and make sure to correctly configure the entire server to only use that, then downgrade the agent, and then say, okay, you're free to go now, which also felt like this is not really worth it. So I'm actually thinking of making it source available now. I have to not say open source. I'm probably gonna use a license that says like you can run this yourself, but you cannot use it for commercial purposes, which I think would solve a lot of issues and probably also make people a bit more, make them less reliant to try it out, because then it's like you can always just I'm gonna do like a 7-day trial, spin up some servers, add your things. If you don't want, okay, here's an open API spec, you can integrate it yourself if you want to. So that's also another thing I'm debating, and I think I'm gonna go that way. I think that makes a lot of sense in terms of this type of product.
What is your license at the moment?
So there's no license right now. It's just a private repository. But I'm thinking of doing the OSASI license from Basecamp that got a lot of heat for saying it's open source when it's technically source available.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'm gonna use that license and say here you go. You do you, and then simply try and build an experience from a platform point of view that makes it that you would probably rather not spend a lot of time building your own platform, integrating with the API, doing all of these nice little health checks and monitoring.
And what about LGPL, for example, the version 3? If you're not open source yet, you can use that as well.
Yeah. We go back a few episodes now to our licensing discussion. I think I'm just gonna put the OSASI license, maybe DPI, and then say open, public, here you go. But I would like it to be a little bit more robust and a little bit more tested before I open up the code base. But yeah, the ideal version is that just here is it. You can run it yourself. You can download it yourself. You don't even need to use deploy crate to configure your servers. You can just use the API, because it would be a nice little abstraction layer, so you don't need to necessarily use SSH or build around SSH. You can just have like a simple JSON API that you can interact with and update and deploy and basically do all the operations you need on a server. So I think that's I'm like 90% sure that's going to be the approach going forward. And then when I get to add telemetry servers and database servers, that's a whole nother can of worms that I'm not really sure how I'm going to do yet. Because I always have the problem that it's people's servers and they are running the thing. So once they have it, what's stopping them from just canceling and then using it? So I need to figure out a way to offer that thing. That might be a module that you add on for one-time payments, and then you get the setup, and then you manage it yourself, or you can get like, I manage it for you. I don't know. That's a future Morten issue, I think.
Yeah. So having a community edition would not fix that. Having a little bit less features is because that you want to offer that feature on the community edition as well.
No, the telemetry and database servers would be a config that's like setting up so you can have like proper telemetry server setup one and done, and then integrate with either deploy crate to monitor or integrate it with yourself. Ideally, the community edition of the crate operator was meant as only for application. Okay, that's nice. Someone ringing. I don't know. I live on the like the perfect place to just ring if you need to get in.
Wait. Are you saying that you have a wired telephone in your house?
No.
Okay, like because the ringtone was like this is an old phone.
I know.
This is a landline.
On tech Twitter that says that Europe is behind the Americas in tech, but we're not that far behind. It's just a door thing. Oh, but okay. in an old Spanish apartment building, so that's why it sounds like that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And now we completely lost where we were.
Yeah. So yeah, the community edition of this thing was meant to be like a smaller version of the let's say not like the paid one, but only for applications. And now I'm just saying like I don't even think I should make that differentiation. I should probably just have all the deployment, everything available as you can run it yourself if you want to. And then when I get to introduce like telemetry servers or database servers, I would have to find a way that would make it so that you don't just spin those up and then cancel your subscription, because they're gonna be more involved. But I'm not really sure yet how I want to do that, or if I want to just offer it that I do it on my own servers. That is going to be part of the plan. So you're going to have some telemetry data, but database servers and managed database servers is going to be a lot more involved than I want it to be for now, at least. So ideally, I would like to create like a config setup that you get a nice self-hostable database cluster, whatever, that you can rely on with backups and integrate with. I'm gonna add it to myself, so everything is running on self-hostable servers to begin with, and then see what should branch out into different kind of products, And then I need to stop using the word self-hostable, because I think that's the wrong positioning for the product, because everyone is like, why don't I just use the open source versions? Because I think that's the mental model people have, right? Self-hostable. So it should be more like an infrastructure product where you own the servers, but don't have to deal with all the elements around the servers. And how that translates into these paid options for telemetry and databases, I'm still a little bit shaky on. As you might can tell,
it's not easy.
It's difficult. Yeah.
Huh. All right.
So that is kind of like the state of deploy crate I'm in with my products.
So do you have any, I don't know, any hopeful date of trying to release something that you would start to get some feedback and things like that? I mean, how do you see your pre-launch phase or something?
So I think like by the end of this week, the rewrite of the operator should be done and integrated into the platform. And then I guess I need some basic sign up and onboarding. So I'm thinking like a couple of more weeks to open it up. And I'm just going to add, like, I don't really, like you said earlier today, like I don't really care about the money. I just want to have people on to get some feedback, right? So the final thing I need to do after the API is done is I need to rework the server setup flow, because right now I'm ingesting the catalog of the server providers, and for some reason Hestner has a lot of traffic coming in right now, so some of the servers is not available, and it seems like they don't really tell me that in the API. So I'm thinking of, instead of storing the catalog in my database, I'm just going to do it directly on the API key that the user gives me, and then pulling and then showing. So that I think I'm going to change it over to that and then let people on the platform. Yeah, so a couple of more weeks, and hopefully I can start to get people on it. Yeah,
very cool. Very cool.
Hopefully, let's see.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. If not, if I don't sell it to a VC fund before.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
They know the price now. It's out there. $1 million.
Yeah.
Come and get it.
Yeah, maybe you can send me 10% of that because I've gave you this amount. So I mean, I still deserve something, right?
Yeah.
All right, Morten. So good. Have a good week. We will see where we are in 1 week.
Yeah, let's do that, man. Nice talking to you again.
All right.
Bye.